So how do you negotiate that raise to earn what you're worth? Here are some things you could do to be blowing it, the blunders, the mistakes. And we talk about some solutions, some techniques, and how to fix those mistakes, because if you do it the wrong way, you're going to burn that bridge. You might even lose your job instead of getting the raise. I know that's a little extreme, but let's talk about it. My name's Kurt Mortensen. This is Maximize Your Influence. Please hit like, subscribe, tell your family, friends, and enemies as we get into those tools, those techniques, those strategies to be a better negotiator. Now let's talk about some definitions here first. Negotiation is a little bit different beast than persuasion. So persuasion, you bring someone to your point of view, right? To your point of view, this is what I'm worth. Negotiations, no, give, take, give, take. They start here, you start here, and you meet somewhere in the middle. And here's my rule every time I teach negotiation is persuade first, negotiate second. There are certain points you got to decide if you're going to persuade on. That's critical. Some points you can negotiate on. That's okay, but you need to decide ahead of time what that is. And so that's the first thing to understand with this process is that, okay, what points aren't negotiable? I need to persuade. What points do I need to negotiate? Like a hostage situation. We say that's negotiation, is it? Well, if there's 20 hostages, you say, okay, you keep 10, I'll take 10, we'll meet in the middle. You can't persuade on that point. You can persuade on what you're going to feed them and the getaway car. Maybe you don't care on those points, and you got to identify those before you persuade influence. So let's get into some of these. Let's talk about them. Take some good notes here as we learn how to negotiate a raise to get paid what you are worth. The first one, know your worth. Know your value. Have a number. Have you done your research? Well, this area, it's worth this much. You have a range. You always want to start at the high part of the range. But what's your value to the company? What would it be like if they lost you? And you don't want to do it in a threatening way. You're there, matter of fact. I've done some research. Print it out. When it's printed out, it's more persuasive on a piece of paper. And maybe even have it end in the number 7. There's something about numbers, ending in odd numbers are always more persuasive than even numbers, and the number 7 is now the more persuasive. Now, you don't want to say, I want $7,777.77 every month increased income, but hey, know your value, nonchalant, get the emotions, you're in control, but you've done your research. When you've done your research and you know your numbers and it's printed out on paper, then all of a sudden we can have a good civil conversation. We don't have to get emotional where, well, I'm worth more than that and I put my heart and soul into this. Okay, well, let's talk some numbers here. Make sure you've done your research. Next one, get into their brain. What is their personality? Ask other people that have gone through this. Get as much information you can. Stalk them on Facebook. Find out more about them. That's okay to do that. That's what people do. Listen to their voicemails. It's Bob, you know the drill. It's Sally, there's music in the background, your call's important. I mean, those are two different things. Get into their brain. Get to understand their personality and what makes them tick. That's a powerful one. And then one other thing, too, to get inside their personality, their brain, is to have them tell you a story. How did you get here? Stories put people in a subconscious trance, even when they tell you a story. So maybe a little boost to the esteem, have them tell a story, and then find out, maybe they're not even able to give you the raise. Do they have the authority to give you the raise? Is there a freeze on raises? Get as much information as you can. We talked about that. But get into their brain, their psyche, their personality. I mean, you can adjust it to culture. Cultures negotiate in a different way. Personalities, age groups, they all negotiate in a different way. So the more you can understand them, get to know them, the better you're going to be. In fact, if you walk in clueless, you have no idea, for the first time, we just average this. It's usually 50-50. 50% of the people want to talk about credibility, go for the numbers first, and the other half want to get to know you first. So it depends on the relationship. That's important. Here's another one. Prepare for the no. Get yourself in the right state. Couple things here. When you feel influential, you are more influential. But you might get a few no's. That's okay. Prepare yourself. It's a negotiation. A lot of seasoned negotiators won't even start considering anything till they've gotten the 2, 3, 4 no's out of the way. So prepare for the resistance. Prepare for the no. I would always think through, and this is true with any persuasive situation and negotiation, is this. What could cause resistance here? What could cause resistance here? And come up with some tools and a game plan to overcome that. And be ready for it. Just because out of the door the first no, that's expected. That's what negotiation is. Think about this. Seasoned negotiators it is not successful unless they've gotten a few no's. That's just how it is. Even if it's a win-win, you got to go in and play the game. Well, I don't want to play the game. You have to play the game or you're going to lose the game. If you were buying a house, you're like, oh, how much? $300. That's fair. I'll take it. Even though it's a win-win, you're screwing with their brain. They're going to have remorse or dissonance. And then you're getting a phone call an hour later, no, I'm not sure. And they're going to back out because you didn't play the game. Like, oh, what if? I should have got more. That was too easy. That was too fast, even though it was a win-win. So think about it. If they're there to play the game, you better play the game or you're going to lose the game. Get yourself in the right mindset. A few no's are okay. Those are rungs on the ladder to yes, especially in a negotiation. Here's one. And this is a huge blunder. You only have one solution. I need this much money. Oh, okay. How can you make the pie bigger? How can you identify other options? That's the key. Making the pie bigger. Different alternatives, different solutions instead of the one solution, because then you'll start crying. Well, maybe not. But a famous Chinese proverb says, the person that strikes first admits their ideas have given out. You need to have multiple thoughts, multiple ideas. Okay, so maybe their hands tied, they can't give you a raise. What else? More paid time off, more paid vacation, more gym club membership, a car lease, be involved in a project, only working 4 days a week. Fill in the blank. Have options there. And now you add all those together, that's probably equal or more to a raise. And that's the key thing about it. You've got to make the pie bigger. Come up with alternatives, different solutions, because if you only come in with one, you're not prepared and you're not going to win this negotiation. Another? Lack of practice. You're like, yeah, going it through in your head's good, but it's not the same. You've given presentations before where it sounded good in your head and you try to get it out like, that was sounded better in my head. You should be practicing with somebody, doing a role play, being prepared for different questions that you're going to get asked. That's key. Okay, when I teach public speaking, persuasive presentations, if you want more information, click on the link. Here's the thing. It's 50-50. 50 prep, 50 practice. That's your editing. When you write a paper, you edit it 2 or 3 times. In speaking and persuasion negotiations, the practicing is your editing to fine-tune. Oh, it sounded good in your head. Get it out. Role play. Find someone that you could role play with. I don't have time. Hey, if you want the raise, you have time. So practice, do your preparation, do the research, scenarios, role plays, different alternatives, things we've been talking about. Practice those. What if they say this? What if they get angry? What if they yell? Potential resistance. What are my solutions? That's the key. It takes time, I know, but if you want to win this thing, I'm telling you, Harvard studies show that one of the biggest failures, biggest blunders is lack of preparation. You just show up and throw up, vomit, you want your raise or else. Intimidation, bruise the ego, done and done, you're not going to get your raise. Even though you deserved it, you did it the wrong way. How about another? And this could be a big blunder, the walk away, where I'm going to walk, I'm not going to work here, then I quit. Now that's a nice card to have, but it depends how you say that. If you lead with that, you say, I'm going to quit. If you don't do this, then do that. Why you back me into a corner? You could just leave a subtle thing out there. Well, yeah, I'm looking at my options. I really like it here. I don't want to. Let's work this out. Let's talk about it. I don't want to go down that road yet. It's out there. It's a possibility. You're like, give me a raise or I quit. Well, go see ya. Maybe they don't like you as much as you think, or maybe their ego is bigger than you think to where, oh, you can't treat me that way. Go away. Even though it's a bad thing for the company, it could happen. Emotions, ego, and esteem is a big part of this. And so it's a subtle thing you want to leave out there. I would not lead with that. I would not threat with that. Till maybe the very end is your last tool out of frustration. Make sure it's real. But you got to be very careful. Too many people think that threat is going to be this gold, this magic ticket. They're like, oh, okay, here's an extra $10K a week, whatever it is, because you threatened them. You back someone into a corner, they're gonna come out fighting. That's just how human nature is. Not every time, but be very careful with that card. A lot of people, too soon, too much, too fast. It's out there, little subtle thing. You're looking around, hey, but I want to stay here. I really like you guys. I like this. You've taken good care of me. But I've done my research and I found this, this, and this. Let's talk about it. Let's work through it. That is key. Next one is being unprofessional. Be friendly, be likable. Harvard study found that just likability, being friendly and nice, 4% bump that you're going to have a better negotiation. It's not a lot, but every tool you add, every thing you fix can make a big difference. Be professional. What's the company going through? Are they having challenging times? Are they having good times? Is the economy doing well? Is it doing poor? Be professional. Do your research. That's so important that you've done that to go through that. But be professional. It's not a time for profanity or name calling. Be likable and work together on this, because it's probably not their favorite thing to do. Maybe some people, when they do it professionally, it is. But for a boss or a manager that doesn't do it very much, they're backed into a corner too. Those feelings are emotions, and so be professional. They don't want to get angry. They don't want to fight. Well, and some people do, but I'd say your typical manager, this is not their favorite thing to do. They're going to work with you. Be professional. Work through it. Schedule a time. Don't do the pop-in. Let them know what you're going to be talking about. Time for both of you to think it through. That's being professional. Another one? No W-I-I-F-T. There's nothing in it for them. It's all about me, and you're comparing yourself to other people. Don't do that. This is about you, true, but you got to get yourself in their shoes. We talked about this. So what does that mean? 3 things. What's in it for them? How are you going to help them? How are you going to help them look good? How are you going to make their job easier? How are you going to have them get more successes? How are you going to help them make more money? Fill in the blank there. You have to do that. But let's add to that. What's in it for the team? If it's the manager, how are you going to help the department, the team, be a team player, take on some projects? How are you going to make the team life easier, the department life? And then tribe, that's the company. So what's in it for the team? What's in it for them? What's in it for the tribe or the company? If you can identify all 3 of those, now you're valuable. Maybe some things you've done in the past, things you plan on doing in the future. Make them look good, put more on your plate, make a bigger difference. Oh man, now it's worth it to give you that raise. You're going to make them look good. You're going to make their life easier. You're going to make the stock option price go up. Whatever it is, figure that out. You're going to take on that project nobody wants. You're going to make sure fill in the blank happens. That makes a difference. Identify those. Don't say, me, give me. No, I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help you out. We're working together. Give me more money. I'll take on more responsibilities. I'll work on this, and this. That is something to think through. Most people don't. So focused on themselves, they really don't think about how it's going to help that person, that department, or that company. Another one? Lack of EQ. EQ, emotional intelligence, a lot more important than your IQ. Read their emotions. What are they going through? Are they angry? Are they frustrated? Are they indifferent? Are they working with you? Are they tired? You have to have that EQ. A lot of people just keep going. They just can show up and throw up without really reading that person at that time. And so lack of EQ is a big one. And be prepared for that. And that's not just you reading their emotions. That's you dealing with your emotions. They always say in every negotiation, only one person angry at a time, and it shouldn't be you. We really want blood to leave your brain so you don't think straight and say something stupid that you're going to regret and eventually get fired? No, you have to control your emotions, manage your emotions, know when it's time to take a break, know when it's time to get a maybe and move on, maybe reschedule it for a month later, because if you get the no, it's hard to turn that no into a yes. If you're sensing the no, get the maybe, reschedule, know when to do that. Know when to take a break. Know when to, the location you should use. You need the upper hand, your office. You want something neutral, maybe go out to eat. If you don't mind them having the upper hand, their offices, that's where they're used to doing it. You have to take a look at those things. Critical, emotional intelligence. Next one, bad timing. Okay? When people are stressed and you pop in and you want to raise it, they have a presentation in an hour, maybe they're overwhelmed, maybe they lack of time, maybe any of those things, it's not a good time to persuade. An overwhelmed brain says no, a stressed mind says no, and you don't want to do that. So schedule a time. Don't do it Monday morning, do it Friday afternoon. In fact, I read a study the other day that Thursdays, the best day to negotiate for a raise is Thursdays. So try to do a Tuesday, maybe before lunch, or Thursday afternoon. Timing is critical. Timing, location, all those things matter. People don't think about it. And here's an interesting one too, mood. Yeah, my mood, their mood? Yeah, both. When you're in a bad mood and you put on that fake smile, something's not going to feel congruent. They're not going to go, oh yeah, they just fought with somebody. It's just that subconscious trigger just doesn't feel right. And their mood, you know the science. When people are in a bad mood, bad things, why they should give you a raise, why they should fire you, all your failures. When they're in a good mood, good things, why they should give you a raise, your past victories. It makes such a difference. So you might want to reschedule, look at the timing. Now, you can't always reschedule, but if you can in the rotten mood, I would reschedule. If not, you got to spend some time, get them on a different path, change their mindset. Both you be in the right frame of mind before you start the negotiation. Critical. Next one, bruising their esteem. I spent the last 20 years monitoring negotiations and salespeople and persuaders. I've seen a lot of things. I've created the 12 laws of persuasion that I put in maximum influence. And what's interesting, one of the ones that really shocked me was the law of esteem. And this is crazy, bigger than you'll ever realize. The bottom line is that when you bruise someone's self-esteem, it shuts the doors to influence and negotiation. You enhance it, it opens the doors. So when you come in with threats and bruise their esteem, recall their past failures, any of those things, have a better idea, a better joke, all these things matter. There was one of the former presidents of the United States that said, hey, when I was president, I never lost at golf. Yeah, hello. You have to be careful here. You're like, well, it shouldn't be an issue. It is. You're there to enhance their esteem, make their life better. Be very, very careful here. Very careful here. You bruise it, it's not going to go well for you. But we want to point fingers and back them in the corner and show them that they're wrong, and these are the numbers, and this is what's happening. You want to do a lot of that, but do it in a way where you're not backing them into a corner, bruising their esteem, showing that they're wrong, blaming them for something. That will make the negotiation go south for you. All right? Final one. Self-negotiation is a huge blunder. Remember, great negotiators are trained to use silence. Maybe a little RBF. Look it up. I have that. I'll let you look that one up. But they're in thought. They're thinking about it. The silence, and then you start, well, okay, I'll take less, and I'll do this, and I'll add this. And no, don't negotiate with yourself. That's self-negotiation. That's their job. It's a two-way. And people get stuck at this all the time because great negotiators are trained to use silence because you're going to keep talking, afraid of the silence, keep talking, and you're going to get worse terms. That's just how it is. In fact, I was watching a negotiation, monitoring a negotiation, and it was an employee leasing company that for 3% of payroll, you can lease the companies from another company. Pretty simple concept. A lot of people have done it. I've done it before. And the CEO is good to go. And the salesperson comes in to, cross the T's, dot the I's, and he's like, we can do all this for 3%. Silence, RBF. You can look it up. Silence, RBF. 2 3/4. Silence. 2.5. You adjust this, do this. Got all the way down to 2 1/4. They were happy with 3. Careful. Silence is okay because they're trained. Oh, the first one to talk loses, and so they use a lot of silence. And use silence. And now, if the silence scares you, you could say, well, I can see you're thinking about this. What exactly are you thinking about? So you still maintain control of that conversation with a question. But hey, be okay with the silence. Train your brain. You've got this. You can do this. I'm going to motivate you to do this. Go get what you're worth. But again, that preparation is critical. Go through these steps. Don't do these blunders. Do the ways we talked about to fix those. That is critical to your success. Do the research, do the numbers, have the range, what's acceptable for you. Now, careful on the range, because if you give them the range, you're going to go low. So you want to start high, and it's okay to go first. If you've done your research, go first. There's a big tip of the day. Okay to go first. Oh, wait, I heard. They never make the first offer. Hey, if you've done your research and they're not going to go first, because the studies do show, not only does it increase the connection and the trust when you go first, show them that you've done your research, but you create the anchor or the starting point of that negotiation, and statistically speaking, you get better terms. You get to decide where we're starting. That's not always a bad thing. Now, if you have no clue, no do research, and you're just a show up to throw up, to vomit on them, then of course you don't want to go first. But at times it's okay to go first. But be prepared, get yourself in the right mindset, become a better negotiator, know when it's time to persuade, when it's time to influence, be more likable, boost their esteem, becoming a better negotiator, and go out and get that raise and persuade with power. Good morning, Singer. Thanks for listening. Again, hit like, subscribe, get more information on Maximize Your Influence, the podcast below. And hey, use this. Make a difference, not only in your personal life and your income, but you can use persuasion to change lives, improve the world, and make the world a better place. Persuade with power.